Good morning, everybody. How you doing? This is Martin John, and I am here for Tao of the Day. I love Tao of the Day. The Tao Te Ching is one of the texts that really kind of altered my life, and has never really stopped altering my life. I think once I started looking at the Tao Te Ching, what came to me was that this is something that I'm constantly getting something new out of. And if you're interested in sharing the Tao with me, why don't you step on up to the stage and give me a number between 1 and 81. I love to meet all the new faces that are out here on Wisdom, and I am here weekdays. Sometime in the morning Central Time. Right now, it's almost 7 o'clock, and I am always down for the Tao, so I offer you guys just a little bit of Tao wisdom. If you come up and give me a number between 1 and 81, I will share with you that chapter of the Tao. So, the Tao Te Ching was written about 600 BC, so it is an ancient text. It's considered an ancient text written about the same time scholars believe that the Old Testament was written. So, 600 BC is a long time, long time ago. And what we're looking at is really one of the great things about the ancient texts, especially the Tao, is the Tao is probably the one that is the strongest in its feminine, in its embracing of the feminine. Of course, Confucius has a lot of it does a lot of embracing of the feminine as well. Um, excuse me, but one of the, like, the Old Testament is very masculine. It's very, very logical. It's a very vengeful sort of book. But when we look at the development of consciousness over time, we see that we go through these different stages, right? So we have the basal ganglia in the brain, and that is our gut brain. That is, very much connected to our gut and those gut instincts and safety. And then we move, and that's very masculine. Then we move into the feminine, into the heart, and the heart is absorbing, and the heart is receiving, and the heart is loving. And so, what happens in the heart is we build relationship, and we don't build relationship that is dictated by anything, but we build a fluid relationship. So, language is created, but not written. Food is planted, and we live off the land, but we do not farm, right? We do not dictate things. We do not build structures. We just enjoy the fruits of the land. And so this is the feminine. And when we were coming out of the feminine and moving into the prefrontal cortex, as the prefrontal cortex started taking center stage in the lives of mankind, we were moving out of the feminine. Well, in the Tao, we see this balance between the feminine and the masculine, understanding that we cherish the feminine, but we need structure in order to see it. And so we've built this structure, and the Tao Te Ching is a warning, more or less, to not lean too heavily on the masculine. It's a warning that we must remain centered in the feminine. Although that is something that we've gotten away from, we are starting to move back into. And so I want to invite you up to give me a number between 1 and 81, and I'll share with you a little bit of the insights of the Tao Te Ching. So, once again, the Tao translates to the canon of reason. Uh, you know, it can translate to the way as well, but I like I like the translation, the canon of reason. It is the quintessential book on living a reasonable life. And if you are interested in living your life in a reasonable way, the Tao definitely has something for you to take away. As we start approaching 7 o'clock, I will pick my own number, but Lois is here to save me from my own babbling. How you doing, girl?
Mm. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderfully. I want to connect you. I'm going to want to connect you with. I have a friend that just came on here, and I want you guys to know. I don't know if he's in the room or not. I don't think so. But I want to connect you with my boy Pop Buchanan. Pop Buchanan. He hosts the podcast Sober is Dope, and he's out in New York, but he's good people, and he just came on here on Wisdom. So if you ever see him around, you guys need to connect. You're all good people.
Okay, so it's Pop Buchanan.
Pop Buchanan, yeah,
Okay,
POP.
I'll be looking for him.
He's yeah, he's my people. So I want to, like, I just talked to him yesterday, and he's coming, and he joined this morning, and so I'm hoping that he pops his head around at some point, and
Okay.
starts doing some stuff. But 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 he's good people. So yeah, so you have a good evening.
Uh, yeah, great. It was great. I honestly, I rested. I do that sometimes, and sometimes I don't. But I was doing meditation in the middle of the day, and I don't know what I did. I think I got up and I didn't count myself back up, so I was like going around in a haze. so,
Yeah.
so Sharente came by because we were supposed to do something, and by the time she got here, I was like, "Go get something to eat."
Sharente, my Sharente from up here on Wisdom.
Yes,
You
yes.
guys are buddies.
No, that's my baby. That's
Oh,
my
I didn't
daughter.
know that.
Yeah, Felicia K is my sister, and Sharente is my daughter.
Oh, well, go on. Like you,
Yes.
what a great wisdom lineage you have.
Hey, I've been working on a building a long time, Martin. And she had
Yeah.
to work with it because she had that life threatening disease that she just finished healing from, too. So it
Oh.
was, because she started out with, when day one, she died on me day one. It had to get revived. And then we spent first 5 years in the hospital. And then from 14 to 18, we spent, 14 to 19, we spent in the hospital. Where, I mean, me being with there for her while I
Hmm.
was sick and all that kind of stuff. She'll tell that story. I let her tell her part of her story. But yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Oh
we've been
well.
through some shit.
Well, let's see. Let's see. Well, let's see what the Dow has to say about all this. Why don't you give me a number?
um I'm tied between 57 and 59. So
58 is between them.
okay, do that then. There you go.
Okay, 58. If a if a country is governed with tolerance, the people are comfortable and honest. If a country is governed with repression, the people are depressed and crafty. When the will to power is in charge, the higher the ideals, the lower the results. Try to make people happy and you lay the groundwork for misery.
Mm,
Try to make people moral and you lay the groundwork for vice. Thus,
mhm,
the master is content to serve as an example and not to impose her will. She is pointed, but does not pierce, straightforward, but supple, radiant, but easy on the eyes.
mhm, that's good. That's good. That fits. It
Yeah,
fits.
that fits. That
It,
fits.
it completely fits. It's like what can I say? That definitely fits. So
You
let's
know, I
start.
love how this starts with the country, and you and I have talked about the idea of the
The
country. The
country.
country could be your
I'm the
body,
country.
could be your family, could be your neighborhood, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if a country is governed, if anything is governed with tolerance,
Mm-hmm.
its inhabitants are comfortable and honest.
Yes.
If a country is governed with repression, the people are depressed and crafty.
And it's rather straightforward. When you have tolerance, you're allowing people to be themselves and they're comfortable. But when you hit that repression is where you don't. I'm gonna say that when you ain't real and
Mm.
you got shit that's going on inside, and you're trying to control and rule and whatever govern people, that repressed state kind of is messed up because that means you're not fully being who you are. That's kind of like you're living in one of them what you call them ego defense states.
Yeah, you know, I'm putting this together. You know me. I'm always talking about
Hmm.
recovery. So I'm always, like I look at this. I'm like, well, when are we living in a repression, in a state of repression? When we tell ourselves, I don't like that I do this, and then judge ourselves, right?
Yes,
All that judgment is coming from repression. It's like you're bad, and it's like,
right.
No,
Like a bad kid, like a little
that's
bad
right.
kid. And
Hmm.
so you got to suck it up. Okay, okay, I'm gonna act like I'm good, but I ain't really
Right.
good. Oh
That's
my
right.
god. Okay, and been there, done that. That's why I said this is so good. Yes.
Right. And in the
Okay.
beginning, we have this: if a country is governed by tolerance, right?
That's
Like, if
allowed.
you can be
You're allowed to
tolerant,
be. Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting because I mean, I talk to people a lot about this, and I think you and I have talked about the difference between wanting something like in your body
Hmm.
and liking something. And it's like you could say, I don't like that I'm having that fifth cookie. I don't
Correct.
like that I'm doing this. And
Hmm.
it's okay if we're tolerant. If we can be
Hmm.
tolerant of our doing that, we can be comfortable and honest. And we can be like, you know what? I don't like that I'm doing this, but here I am doing it. And 30 minutes later I feel bloated and gross, and I can recognize that because
Hmm.
I'm being honest and I'm comfortable. I can be like, this discomfort that I'm having is because I did something that I don't like that I do.
Hmm.
But if we move to this other place of repression, as soon as you eat that cookie, you're like, oh my God, I hate myself, I hate myself, I hate
Ah,
myself.
yes,
And then
yes.
and then where are we? We get depressed and crafty. We start to tell stories about how it's not our fault. It's because the cookie was bad. It's because, and then we start to
No,
get
no, no. We
depressed.
make excuses
That's
for
right.
it.
We get
I
depressed and
did
start
that
making
because
excuses.
I deserved it. But and my thing is, why you deserve to treat your body bad?
That's
I mean,
right.
that's
Then
like
we're getting all crafty.
yes, buddy. Because I talk about I didn't talk about that in any one of my talks, but when I talk to people when they're asking me, well, how you keep all that weight you had on you off all these years? And I was like, because one, I don't beat myself up when I make a mistake.
Hmm.
Okay, and then I don't focus on the mistake. I just don't do it again. I just
That's right.
I gotta
That's
back
right.
up off of it. And if I do it again, I don't beat myself up because I'll still go and have me a soda every now and then, knowing that it ain't good for my stomach, you know.
It ain't good for nothing. But
Okay, well,
you
of
want
course,
it,
that
and
high
that's okay.
fructose, yeah, and sometimes I want it, but I'm not gonna beat myself up behind it. I don't even think so. But I know that if I want to continue to stay well, I can't continue to say, "Oh, I just want it."
Yeah, and it's governed with tolerance. You're
Yeah.
tolerant. You are not trying to just repress yourself.
Mm-mm. No, because I tell people, I says, "What would you eat, Lois, if you don't eat gluten and you don't do the?" I said, "I eat anything I want," because that's the
That's right.
truth. That's
That's right.
the
I
truth.
eat anything I want because I don't
Okay.
want that.
There it
Because
is.
that ultimately makes me feel garbage. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if I want to smoke crack, I can, but I know that smoking crack can make me feel like garbage, so I ain't gonna do it.
I know that's right. Don't work, man. I tried
That's
that
right.
shit. It did not
As well,
work. They
yeah, you
said it
and
was
me
supposed to
both. Like,
help
it
me.
worked. It worked once, but then
Well,
it didn't make me feel good for like it worked once for like I don't know, 3 minutes. Like,
I don't even know how. I don't even know how to build it like this. I know it didn't. It didn't deliver that which they told me it would. Okay, I'm
mm,
gonna say. So I'm gonna say that because I told you I wanted out of pain because I was
yeah,
in so much pain as a
didn't
youth
deserve
and
nothing.
stuff. So
Yeah,
I would try whatever. Oh, do this. It'll make you feel better. I do it. What the fuck is this? I don't like this. Do this. Then it take all my money. I was like, oh no,
yeah,
I don't
that's
like this.
right.
So I was one of them people. It's like they said, well, were you an addict? I said I was a triad addict. Okay.
Yeah,
I was trying everything because I just wanted to be out of pain. I'm gonna be real. That's
yeah.
why I
I
said
tell you,
I can't help but be real. I
someone
wanted
asked me.
out of the
Someone asked me,
emotional
"What's your
and
drug of
mental
choice?"
pain.
I say escape.
Huh? Yeah,
Someone asked
escape.
me my drug of choice. Escape. That's
There it
all.
was run, run in my mind. If I couldn't run physically because I was not allowed to run physically because I had too much responsibility, I go run in my mind.
That's right.
Okay, so but thank God I don't have to run in my mind no
Oh man, now
more.
you can
Okay.
play up there, right?
Okay, that's what I do. Why do you think that's what this is to me? I
This
don't know.
is
This is
play,
serious. I know this is serious business to
but it's
everybody,
but it's
but
fun, and
it's
it's like
fun growing.
I'm
It is
telling
so
you,
much fun
yes.
growing. You
And
know
then we have this: when the will to power is in charge, the higher the ideals, but the lower the results. If you
well
try to make people happy, you lay the groundwork for misery.
because you can't make no damn body happy, and the person that's gonna be
Hmm.
miserable is your ass because you had that expectation that you could make another human being happy, and we
And you,
can't make nobody happy.
yeah, and you told some motherfucker that you can make them happy, and then they're like, but I want this now. And it's like, then they're like, but you didn't give me what I wanted. You didn't get, like you can't ever make people happy. And that's what I
No.
tell my clients all the time.
Mhm.
I'm just like, I know you want to look at this thing, but this thing is not your problem.
Yes. Yes.
Your problem is you, sweetheart, and we got to sit down
Mhm.
and work on that. It's like,
The pe
but I'd
the
rather,
people
I'd rather,
pleasing shit.
I'd
Yes.
rather fix my partner. It's just like, well, you'll fix your partner once you fix yourself. Like,
Man, you
it
better
meaning
tell it.
that your partner's going to go away, or you're going to see your partner for who they actually are.
Yeah, and you do. And you
That's
do.
right. That's
Because
right.
I've been wait, wait, been there, done that one
No, no,
too.
no, no.
Okay, it's like I said, when you grow and you get older and you look back and you're like, well, damn, I did that shit. Oh, I did that shit. So I can't. That's why when people do things, there's no way I can be judgmental for fucking anybody
Oh, tell me about
because most of the shit people doing that people judge, hell, I did that shit too. Cause I was in pain trying to find a way out, and I had no leader. I didn't have nobody like Wisdom App. I didn't have
it.
nobody like Martin
Mm-mm.
John leading me
No.
through the way. Cause I wasn't because I never fell into a category of okay, you're an addict now. No, I didn't fall into that.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I didn't get that help. Well, I didn't fall into that. I didn't get that. Now I did fall into the depression, and then they didn't even know what to do with it because most of the therapists I talked to hadn't heard of nobody going through all the shit I went through, so they were at a loss. So
Yeah.
I was out there alone. With no, wait. I want to say this: I was never alone. God was always with
Oh,
me.
yeah.
God is the one who guided me back to Him, and God is the one who got me where I am now. So I can't say I was on, but as far as people being there for me, no, wasn't no people there. Wasn't no people there. Now when it comes to, I have few friends. I think I told this story. I have strangers that came in and rescued
Mm-hmm.
and paid my medical bills and stuff, and I didn't even hardly know these people, but God sent them to me to help me because family was not there because they were too afraid that I was dying, so they were scared and stayed away. They didn't like seeing me like that.
Yeah.
So it was really, really, really weird. I told you it was just me and Sharente at that point. Me, Sharente, and my other two kids. Well, they weren't living with me, but they no, they didn't even get to see it. It was just me and Sharente. I'm gonna be real.
Mm.
It was just me and Sharente and my best friend, the one who let us stay at his house. Okay, so yeah, so when the shit hits the fan, God always gives you people. He gives
That's
you
right.
people. So I can never say I was all alone. When I think
No.
about alone, I think about I wanted family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wanted my mommy. I wanted my daddy. Okay, I ain't had that shit. Okay,
No, that's right. And
I wanted
that's it. That's the
shit. I
whole
even wanted
point
my
of like,
sister. I didn't have that either. I wanted my brother. Didn't have. We was it's so many in my family that I thought that when I got sick, everybody would be there, but wasn't nobody there because everybody was too traumatized because so many people had already died. And
right.
then here was I was. My mother said the Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept trying to beat a rock, but I told you that cookie crumbled. That rock crumbled like shit. Okay.
But then you were able to grow to serve as an example, and that's what we move here.
Yes.
Thus, the master is content to serve an example and not impose her will, because you've been what you've been through.
Hmm.
Everybody has their way, and
Yeah.
everybody will find their way, and you
There.
don't have to impose your will.
And I don't have to leave. I don't necessarily have to leave them. All I got to do is just be me. And
That's
if
right.
they look at it, oh, what you doing? And I let them know. But before I was like, hey, come on, I'm healing. Come on,
That's
come
right.
heal with me.
That's
Come
right.
on, heal with me. And they weren't
Hmm.
ready.
And
And now,
then we
and
have this
now,
line.
okay, go ahead.
She is pointed but doesn't pierce, just like you're saying. You're not trying, like before, you were trying to pierce. You're trying to get everybody to heal with you. But
Yeah,
now
because I was
you're
afraid. Because I told you,
right.
I walked in fear. I did not want nobody else to hurt like I hurt. So I was trying to save everybody from my pain.
That's right. And here we
Okay,
get we it says straightforward but subtle, radiant but easy on the eyes. And that's the thing. Before, it was hard for people to look at you. It was hard for people to follow you. It was hard for people to, and it's not like they're following you now, but it's
mhm.
hard for people to understand you. And now they understand because they can look your way.
There it is, and that's the whole part. And I tried to make them understand it first. I don't have.
Yes, you do not have to do that now. Oh, Lois, thank you so much for joining me. And that ended beautifully. Love you guys so much. If anybody wants to come up and give me a number between 1 and 81, I want to welcome you up and let's talk a little bit about the Tao. So that was the Tao with Lois. And now we're bringing, oh, Daisy's up again. Daisy, you're such a fun guest. I'm loving having you on. Thank you for joining.
Morning, good morning.
Good morning.
So my number, I don't know if you've already done this, but
I've
what's on
only done 58. So unless it's 58,
42.
42. Now it should be said I've done all of these multiple times, but every day is a new day. As okay, so 42. This is one that is all about the masculine and the feminine.
Mm,
The Tao gives birth to one, one gives birth to two, two gives birth to three, three gives birth to all things. All things have their backs to the female, yet stand facing the male. When the
mm,
male and female combine, all things achieve harmony. Ordinary men hate solitude, but the master makes use of it, embracing his aloneness, realizing he is at one with the whole universe.
wow. That just washed over me completely. I am absorbed by it totally. So I'm going to let you get started and going through some of the
Okay, yeah,
lines.
we'll go
Yeah.
through this because it's because
Mm,
like this talks about a couple things, and so
yeah.
when we're looking at the Tao gives birth to one, so the Tao is the ultimate void, right? So we look at this as
Mm-hmm.
the Tao being the ultimate female. It will receive everything and anything you can put in it. And so the Tao gives birth to one. One is going to be like the structure of the universe. This is the first male thing. And
Okay.
one can't now a person can't experience the ultimate female without structure. And structure
Mm-hmm.
is masculine. And so they need each other, right? The
Mm-hmm.
Tao being the ultimate feminine gives birth to the universe, and maybe that's the planet or whatever, right? One gives birth to two, that is the universe then builds the planet. Two gives birth to three, this is you, right? Three is
Mm-hmm.
this next structure that is your
Mm-hmm.
body. Three gives
Mm-hmm.
birth to all things, and then we as humans go through the world and name things, and we start to categorize and do all of these things, and now all things are created, but
Mm-hmm.
but it all came from that original kind of feminine. And and there's back and forth, right? So
Mm-hmm.
one gives birth to two, the universe, but the universe is mostly space, so it's mostly feminine.
Right.
And then we build a masculine planet.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the planet, there is consciousness that we all partake in. And that's where our bodies then come and embody that. And so this is the forever kind of stacking of consciousness structure, feminine masculine, from
Mm-hmm.
from one, like, and the Tao is the only thing that is always only feminine.
Mm-hmm.
One then gives birth to two. One is able to be the universe, which is a structure that holds the feminine. Two is then a structure that holds the feminine. Three, us, is a structure that holds the feminine. We hold that yielding, that love, that compassion, all of that that is intangible about us is
Mm-hmm.
feminine. And there's so much more intangible about us that is, I don't know, tangible, or anything that is, explainable is
Mm-hmm.
such a small thing. If you tried to have an identity and understand that identity, you are selling yourself short. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. And now on the personal level, I think I go back and forth with feeling like, well, I'm a widow. And so I feel like even though I'm feminine, I'm a woman, I do everything. I take out the trash, I do pay the bills, I do. And so I've always felt like there's this internal, since it's happened to me, I've always felt like I just fluidly go back and forth between, because of the role I'm having to live in my life. That's why I was so awestruck when you read that, because I was saying to myself, how will I relax that if I allow someone else to come into my life because I've been in this for so long.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I'm 46 and I ain't never been married. I ain't never had no kids. I know, I won't. I mean, I had a vasectomy when I was 26. I made a decision early on. But,
Mm-hmm.
but, uh, but like I have a structure where, like this morning I woke up at 3:30 in the morning. I meditated for 2 hours and then I did some stuff. And then here I am
Mm-hmm.
like I have a structure and I don't know that there's any
Yeah.
room for somebody. But does that mean I don't want anybody? Well, not really. I just don't want anybody to
Mm-hmm.
kind of fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I, want-
Right.
like
Yeah.
I got a
Yeah.
lot of me up in here. You know what I'm saying?
I know, like, it's like, have I built any space? I look at my closet, I'm like, are you really inviting anybody in your life? Look at this. You know how you have everything. You're like, can't nobody get a broom straw up in here, let alone another shirt or pants or anything else. Just like, are you invited? And listen, I would not have guessed you at 46. I'm 56. And so you do, I think, get in a pattern and a rhythm in your way of life. And I just don't know if subconsciously I am even inviting anyone in, right?
hmm And that might be fear, and that might be a lot of things. But here we start talking about this. Like masculine and feminine coming together, but also
Mm-hmm.
like later on we're going to talk about this solitude. So it's going to be really interesting as we continue going
Mm.
through this. So all things have their backs to the female
Okay.
and stand facing the male. How do you kind of see that?
That line really perplexed me about so the creation coming forth, and then people have turned their backs on that, but they're facing the male. But then there's a completeness with there being male and female. So it was kind of trippy for me when I was thinking about that line.
Okay. Well, I look at it this way, like what do you want to see? Do you want to look at an
Okay.
empty sky or do you want to look at a sky
Oh.
that's filled with birds? Or do you want to
Okay.
look at a sky that has a cloud in it?
Mm-hmm.
And so the sky is your feminine. It is there to
Mm-hmm.
receive whatever you put in it. And yet when there's nothing in it, you just kind of, oh, it's a nice blue. But even that blue is something that you
Mm-hmm.
can attach to. And so that's the male, the cloud, the birds, the blue. It's the
But
space.
Martin,
Yeah.
could it also be time? Like you have the beginning, or like we would say our past that we can focus on, but then there's added in the present with the other elements that you need to focus on instead of just, okay, this was the beginning and I'm always going back to it.
Well,
I'm
time is a
always
weird,
focusing on the past. Yeah.
yeah, time is a weird thing, right? Because
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
time doesn't exist. Your past, it doesn't exist. It is
Okay.
just a memory. And we already know, I mean, we know scientifically that less than 50% of your memories are right. So
Right.
do you want to, like, that's kind of like clinging to a ghost,
Oh, okay.
and that's not something that is something that you can build a structure out of. So you can
Okay.
build a structure out of that and live your
Mm-hmm.
life through a structure of memories. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but you may have woken up this morning for the first time ever, and all of those memories were just in your head,
Right.
even though they feel real. How many times have you
Mm-hmm.
been in a dream and it felt so real? Shit
Yeah,
ain't real.
I be,
Shit
hey,
ain't
I had
real.
to, I've had one, I made myself wake up. I'm like, look, get up. This is too scary.
You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
my God.
So
Yeah.
when I see backs to the female stand facing the male, it's like, well, of course, the male is the house. The female is
Got
the
it.
space in the house.
The
You can't
space.
really face
Mm-hmm.
that. You can't do anything about that. You
Mm.
can fill it and you fill it with things you want to face. So when
And
male and
that's the male.
female
Okay.
when male and female combine, all things have harmony. Now I have a house. Now I start putting
Mm-hmm.
some things masculine in it. Now
Okay.
I got a painting, and I got a couch, and I got a TV, and I got a desk, and I got all these things. And look at how beautiful and comfortable this is. But when I
Mm,
take all the masculine out, all of the things out, it's an empty room. And what you see
mm-hmm,
is emptiness. But the
mm,
reality is what you should be seeing is potential,
mm,
right? Potential to fill this with something and to make it something. And that's the thing the feminine offers, is like it will be, it will absorb whatever and reflect whatever you want it to.
mm-hmm.
When male and female combine, all things achieve harmony.
Okay.
And yes, that could be sex as well, because isn't that harmonious, right? Like that could be about combining in that way. But like you also hold, like, your structure, your body is masculine. You
Mm-hmm.
hold, you know, feminine energy as well,
Right.
which is not, it's not tangible. Your feminine quality, the feminine, that which receives, that's which yields, like that which is
Mm-hmm.
not your identity but is you. That's the
Mm-hmm.
feminine. And that's who you are,
Mm-hmm.
like, and that's deep, deep you.
Mm-hmm.
And then we
That's
go
the
to this,
core.
that's the core. And then this next
Mm-hmm.
line states, ordinary men hate solitude. Why do you think that is, after what we just talked about?
Wow, that's mind blowing because I am an INTJ and I crave solitude. Like I am just so, that's a huge part of me is just needing that introspective think time. Um,
Yeah.
I love solitude. Like, yeah.
And like we state here, ordinary men hate solitude.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because the depth of who you are
Mm-hmm.
is feminine. And like, but we
Yes.
want to attach it to definition, we want to attach it to identity, we want to attach it to all of these things. And yet when we are in solitude, we realize that all those things fall away and there's only space.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think
you,
it takes courage. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
yes,
It
no,
takes
that's
courage to
exactly.
be in solitude. It's so much easier to be stimulated by other people and constantly be in a crowd. But when you're alone, and you're in that solitude, I just think a lot of people don't like to even venture there.
That's right. They don't want to touch it because
Mm-mm.
when they have to look at, like, this idea that their backs are to the female, their backs, they stand with their backs um to the the thing that has meaning, the thing that is
Mm-hmm.
the depth that we are. We stand with our
Mm-hmm.
backs to that, and we start looking at all the things, all the parade, all the shiny cars, all the shiny coins, and all
Mm-hmm.
the things, and we're like, look at all those things. But those things don't have anything without that which my back is to, without the depth of the feminine,
Mm-hmm.
without the depth of the yielding.
Mm-hmm.
So ordinary men hate solitude, but the master,
Mm-hmm.
she uses it. She makes use of
Right.
it,
Mm-hmm.
embracing her aloneness, realizing she is at one with the whole universe.
That is so incredibly powerful. Like I just became overwhelmed by that in a good way.
Yeah.
It was just like confirming so much for me about why I am how I am.
And this when we talk about this, like, the depth of aloneness, it's not
Mm-hmm.
alone with the TV and radio on.
Mm-mm.
It's not
Mm-mm.
alone checking out some apps.
Mm-mm.
It's not alone calling our buddy. It's not alone filling our space, but it's alone
Mm-hmm.
within us, that we can realize that we are at one with everything. When we step back and feel that, and it's not loneliness, right? There's a difference between loneliness
Mm-mm.
and aloneness.
Yes, I would agree. This to me today was a gift. It's like I immediately opened my eyes and searched, put my headphones on and let me find my legs. Ever since I've discovered this, and each time I've talked to you, I know this is just the second time, it's been right spot on with where I am and what I needed to hear. And thank you so
Oh, it is
much
my
for that.
pleasure. And you know, the Tao, it's a magical thing. I don't know, like, oh, but once I discovered it, and I carried it with me. I offered it
Mm-hmm.
to friends, and I gave myself the gift of just awareness through the Tao. Thank you. It's so great to have. So great to have new people coming up. Kronos is coming up. Kronos, I know you got a number for me. What's going on? I hope that last one we read for you still resonates. How you doing? Oh no, he stepped away. If anybody wants to step up and and pick a number. Oh, whoop, is this? Oh, Energy Lady is coming up.
Good
Hi.
early morning.
Good, yeah, good early morning. Like I've got,
I
I've
just
been up for
something
hours.
said, yeah, something called me, turned it on, and I went, all right, there he is,
There he is doing his thing.
doing your thing. It's so early in the morning. What are you up at 5 o'clock? I'm only kidding.
Yeah, no, yeah, I like it's 7:30.
I
I
know
woke up
it's
four
not. No,
hours
it's not.
ago.
It's 5:30. Don't even lie to me.
I was up 4 hours ago, starting my day. But
Well,
what do you?
see, that's
I'm all ready.
I get up around 4:30.
Good on you. Yeah,
You know,
that's it's so like every couple years, like I'm like I'm like, oh, when is this gonna stop? I thought 4 o'clock it was when it was gonna stop, but now it's like I've been waking up like without my alarm at like 3:30 recently. I don't know if that's gonna stick, but
you know what? I
it's been
think it's
really nice.
universal. I think it's universal because I've been waking up at that time too. Except I have this cat that cuddles with me,
Hmm.
and I can't go. I'm like, oh, he's
Oh,
so cute. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so
Me and
I just no, I justify it. I don't have to get up. It's too early.
my cat and I are buddies. If she's hanging out, I'm just like, all right. I mean, I love her and all, but like, come on. Again, we both have work to do. Like, let's
I
just
know, but it's cold.
just yeah. No, oh yeah, I'm in Chicago. Like we got about 3 inches of snow last night.
Good for you.
Yeah, went out
Yeah.
this morning, took care of that. So let's look at some numbers. What do you got?
How many do you want? I'm only kidding. The number 10 popped in my head.
Number 10. Oh, I don't think a whole lot of people have picked 10, so this will be one that I haven't read in a while, probably.
Yay!
Can you coax your mind from its wandering and keep to the original oneness? Can you let your body become supple like a newborn child? Can you cleanse your inner vision until you see nothing but the light? Can you love people and lead them without imposing your will? Can you deal with the most vital matters by letting events take their course? Can you step back from your own mind and thus understand all things? Giving
No.
birth, giving birth and nourishing, having without possessing, acting with no expectations, and leading and not trying to control. This is the supreme virtue.
It's kind of where my life is right now.
Yeah. You know, I this is a very this verse is a very different one than most of the other ones because we have all of these questions in the beginning, and really it's just kind of a checking in. And I want to look at a different translation just because I'm a dick that way. And we're gonna look at how, so these are all like it was translated in it's translated in much the same way, but I'm going to read this anyway. In holding the soul and embracing oneness, can you be without straying? In concentrating the energy and reaching relaxation, can one be an infant? Oh, that's interesting how they put that. In cleaning away the worldly view, can one be without imperfections? In loving the people and ruling the nation, can one be without manipulation? In the heavenly gates, opening and closing, can one hold to the female principles, the feminine principles? In understanding clearly all directions, can one be without intellectuality? Bearing it, rearing it, bearing without possession, achieving without arrogance, raising without domination. This is called the mystic virtue.
And what that's all called, that's actually gives a, to me, it gives a much bigger picture, a more described picture.
Yeah,
You know, because the first one kind of started it off, but this one gave me visuals of my own life. And what
yeah,
this is saying to me is, are you ready to step into your leadership role?
yeah. You know, that first line really kind of holds this. In holding the soul and embracing oneness, can one be without straying? I like how that puts it, right? Can you be without straying? Can you be still and embrace that oneness? Can you hold your soul and your purpose and your soul's contracts and all of the things that can you in your body connect with your soul without straying?
Yep. And that is what I woke up to this morning, not in those words.
Yeah, of course.
I don't have it memorized. Um, it was asking. I mean, basically, what I said to myself was, "It's just time to jump in and play."
Yeah.
It is, you
and
know.
and and that moves right into in concentrating the energy, kind of focusing your energy and reaching relaxation, right? These two things that we could in our world find dichotomous. What we
Yes.
actually have is concentrating your energy and reaching relaxation. Can one be like an infant? Like, right, like an infant has so much concentrated energy. They are learning at every moment. They are learning and bringing things in, and yet they are relaxed to allow it to come in because they don't have the rules of like, oh, this has to be presented to me in a specific way.
Right, and that's very interesting because last night when I write, I always write before I go to sleep, and
Hmm.
the word kept coming up to me: relax. You have to relax. You have to relax, and then hear
Yeah.
that saying relax. And the childlike is really cool because I saw a friend of mine that I haven't seen in over, I think it's going to be 10 years. We couldn't figure out how many years it's been. Her son is 6, and it was before that.
Hmm.
And she's 15 minutes from my house. We laughed. And she has she has a 2-month-old, and her boy is very, very hyper. And reason he's hyper is because he's bored. And she says, "Yeah, my son thinks he's ADHD." And I said, he could be. I said, "But he's healthy." She says, "But Nancy, I don't know what to do." So he started being nasty to his mom. I said, "Oh, sweetie, come here." And he looks at me, and I tried to run with him. He goes, "No, I can't run with you." And I go, "Why?" And he just looks at me. He's 6. And I looked at him. I said, "Tell me the truth." He goes, "It's because you have white hair." I looked at him, and she was so embarrassed. And I looked at him and I said, "Oh, so I'm old to you?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "I bet you I'd run circles around you." And he goes, "No, no, no, no." Well, we went into the kitchen because he wanted some food. And we went into the kitchen, and I gave him so much independence. And she goes, "How did you do this?" I said, "I just was the child with him, got him
Yeah.
safe, made him realize." And it's the same thing. You just said childlike. That's why I was there yesterday to hear this today. It's the next step. And yeah, that's wow. Let's keep going.
You know, it's interesting also because this next line, in cleansing away the worldly view, can one be without imperfections? And that's the thing. Like, you know, even this child had a worldly view of like, oh, white hair means something, but like
Right.
the an imperfection is just an expectation. Like that is an imperfection, right? Like, can you be without expectation? Can you be without those attachments to identity? Can you be without those attachments to the physical? In loving
Yeah,
the
and that's what her
people,
mom,
oh,
his
please.
mom was trying to tell. No, 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 it's okay. My internet was cutting out. The mother was telling him, okay, what do you say? What do you do? I said, does he know how to speak?
Right.
And she looked at me and I went, it's fine. She says, but Nancy, he's got to have manners. I said, let me tell you, there's a difference between manners and respect. You're teaching him to be obedient. Why
Right.
don't we allow him to become the child and respect? Because if he doesn't respect me, I will let him know. And he's looking at me like, oh, crap. And
Yeah.
I looked at him and he goes, how do you know me? I
Mm.
said, I raised somebody like you, and he turned out to be a very good gentleman. And I said, it's because I allowed him to be him. Do you want to be you? He goes, yeah. And that was it.
Yeah.
We were best friends right there. It's very cool. And he picked my car out of the entire parking lot. He picked my car. I said, go find my car. She goes, he doesn't know. I said, go find my car. And he goes, is
Right.
it this one? I said, yes. She goes, how did he know? I said, because he feels the energy. You guys are
Yeah.
stifling him. She goes,
Right.
ah, crap.
Yeah.
But that's why yesterday happened the way it did, so I could realize this is my next. Nancy, you're already there.
Yeah.
That,
Can
okay, keep
one
going. I'm
can
having fun.
one be without imperfections in loving the people and ruling the nation? Can one, and that's it, right? In loving people, like you can just love them as they are, just like you're saying.
Oh,
Like, and this kid already knows he's closer to it than we are, but we stifle, stifle, stifle,
right.
and then eventually they just they can't be stifled anymore, and then they try to break out, and that's where all of the like
Rebellion hits,
frustrations.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Can one be without manipulation in the can oh wait in cleansing away the worldly view can one be without imperfections in loving the people and ruling the nation can one be without manipulation, right? In the heavenly gates opening and closing can one hold to the feminine principles?
Aren't the feminine principles the unconditional loving and all that stuff?
Yeah, so maybe this has to do with just like everybody connected. It's not like, oh, you can get in and you can't, and then you're dictating sin, right? You're dictating, oh, you've done something bad. So maybe
Yep.
that like judgment, right? Like if this kid, oh, you're not being polite, it's just like, no, I'm not being obedient, but I'm being respectful.
Yeah, and he doesn't know what obedience is, so it was
Well,
really
right.
easy for me to say it. No, it's
Yeah.
really easy because I know that's not her intention. She's just confused. She goes, "I'm not a good mom." I said, "She goes, Nancy, I'm just not, And I said, "Wait a minute." I said, "He's listening to me." She goes, "So, that's you."
Right.
She goes, "Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?" I said, "No, that's you. You give him safety enough. You just, learn a couple things." I said, "He's 6 years old and he needs to be challenged." But it's not even that. When I'm hearing that, what I'm hearing about that leadership and everything, those are the questions I have that I've been asking is with what I've created. This is what I say, with what I created, is my leadership role going to be effective? Because I will not go into the right, wrong, the good, bad, this is how you do it because it's the right way. I don't do that. And that's the only training I've ever seen is my way works
Right.
in life. And by the way, it doesn't. Everybody has their own. And I've created, and I have been doing this for years, is that you get to find your way by the
Yeah.
guidance of me, not by the authority of me.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to be noticed. I don't
Right.
need to be noticed. I want to be in a circle of people who are loving and kind. That's
Right.
it. Because when you're loving, you're kind, then you're happy.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
So
that
then we
that
move.
that fits better for me.
Yeah. And then we move into this is really interesting, like bearing it, rearing it. So
What does that mean?
giving birth and then nourishing. And then it's interesting because this next line says bearing it without possession. So you give birth and you
Without
nourish it, but
without expectation.
you give birth without possessing it. And I think this is a problem I've seen with some parents where they think that they are owners of their children. And they want to possess their children rather than just nourishing them and rearing them so that they can be people like you're promoting.
Right, and that's very interesting because last night I had this amazing, after hanging out with her, amazing epiphany with my son because I thought that I had really, and I thought that I just came to an awareness that I had really just gotten lost in my world, and I couldn't find myself, kind of like that whole thing with addiction where, you get to that point where you think, what did I do to myself? And I know that you don't do that. So what I said to myself was, if I wasn't that person, I wouldn't have been able to be the person I was solid to not, because I said no so many times to family.
Yeah.
And I got berated, I got belittled, and I think it's circling around that my son is hearing what I didn't do, you know? And it's and I couldn't understand what I was being affected by. So I'm sitting here going, no, if I was in the solid place I am today, it would have not worked out as well because I jumped into that family.
Right.
So, yeah, so I had to get completely out of control to find my way back. And that's
Yeah.
the whole thing. And I know you understand that exact thought process. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
and that, I think that fits with what you just said.
Right. And I think that's beautiful. And then this I think fits in as well as we're winding down, achieving without arrogance,
Yes.
raising without dominance.
And
This is
that
called the
is,
mystic virtue.
yeah, and that's beautiful because that's exactly what I did. And the benefits were not what I was hoping for, and that's where I got lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Now it doesn't matter because it's saying, Nancy, you always had it. You
Always
always
had
had
it,
it.
always will.
Yeah, you always had it, Nancy.
And you just got cut out. So do you want to come in and land that plane, and then we'll get on to Kronos? Kronos is in line, and then we did have Quotina in line as well, but she dropped out. Well, if she wants to come back up, of course she's welcome, and I'll keep you in mind for where you're at in line. Go on.
Okay, sorry about that. I didn't realize it because I'm cleaning out a litter box.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and really what I just saw was the fact that life can be as simple as being broken as it is put together. That's just it's all the same thing.
It's all
There
the same.
is
What's the difference between yes and no? What's the difference between success and failure?
right, and see, well, that must be why. There it is. The conditioning that I was given didn't work for me, so I see it very clearly when other parents do it.
Right, right,
And
right.
and and they're open. I mean, she's very open,
Yeah,
and she goes,
you
"What do
can't
I
give that to
do?"
anyone who's not willing to receive it.
Oh, no, I've tried that. It doesn't work very well, by the way,
Mm-mm.
Martin.
No, it's like trying to tell an addict he's an addict and getting him to stop. No, never will happen. It'll never
You know,
happen.
that's so funny you say that. I was just talking to a friend about that. I said, seriously, your husband's an alcoholic and you're telling him to stop? I said, you might want to stop.
That's right. Absolutely.
And she went, I never thought of it that way. So,
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, we don't because we're taught to tell them to stop, right? They
Right.
don't care about the family.
We're told to get everybody else to do what we want them to do. And that's where the feminine is so yielding. It's just like, no, you want to drink? That's cool. Like, I got to do something else though. Like,
Right.
I'm going
And
to love
that,
you. I'm going to love you, but I'm not going to put myself in danger. And if that's what you want, if that's what you like doing, like, all the more power to you.
yeah, just, you know,
You know,
when you
that's
don't,
not dismissive. Like, you say that with the most loving intention.
right. It's called learn from your own life experiences.
Right.
As
They
long,
will come about. They will
yeah,
come
and that's
about.
and honestly, this last thing she told me, she said, you know, 'cause she wouldn't let him do something, and she goes, "But Nancy, he burned himself." And I said, "I bet you he learned." She goes, "Yeah, but he's afraid." I said, "That's you. That's not him."
That's right.
And she just, but see, that's an open thing, and I love it. So,
Yeah.
and
It's beautiful.
it's not that I'm all that with her. It's reminding me, and you just said it, and I didn't catch it in the beginning, is that I was taught I had to be the mom and the dad with my son, so I became very strong.
Mm-hmm.
And what it's asking me to do now in my energies is be that feminine self because the dad thing is natural within the female, but you don't have to be the man.
That's right.
So thank you, love you. I'm going to
Absolutely. Love you.
continue listening to you as I walk. Have a good one.
Wonderful. Have a good
Okay,
walk.
bye.
Okay, now we're bringing Kronos up. Kronos came back. Sorry, I had to skip you. I don't know if there's some. There may be some glitches in the app. I don't know. Someone got
It
kicked
was
out
a
yesterday.
glitch.
Kronos, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It was a glitch. I came up to you today because I need some clarity. I had a discussion that I was doing earlier this morning that kind of really rattled me and it rattled my patience. And I picked number 30, and I'm hoping that you can help calm my mind from my earlier podcast that just kind of disrupted my thought process and my calm and my faith in myself. So if
Okay,
you would be so kind as to go through number 30 for me, I would appreciate it.
absolutely. Whoever relies on the Tao in governing men doesn't try to force issues or defeat enemies by force of arms. For every force, there is a counterforce. Violence, even well intentioned, always rebounds upon oneself. The master does his job and then stops. He understands that the universe is forever out of control and that trying to dominate events goes against the current of the Tao. Because he believes in himself, he doesn't try to convince others. Because he is content with himself, he doesn't need others' approval. Because he accepts himself, the whole world accepts him. So, what are some of your initial thoughts here?
Well, I picked this randomly first and foremost, and you
It
know
doesn't
how the
sound like it, but right?
well,
Like it
it
sounds like it's pretty spot on to something that's going on.
yeah, well, like I said, I think that this one came up because the I love the person that came up into my podcast, but it was not the podcast that I was planning to do. I'm in the middle of a new startup with some associates of mine, and I was trying to talk about the new startup, and I brought a person up several times, hoping to retrain this person back onto the topic on hand, but it kind of went sideways and trying to redirect, and so um, I didn't try and force the issue, but I tried to be cool, calm, and kind, and so this basically just go through it line by line because
Mm-hmm.
it's spot on for exactly what happened this morning. And I think this was chosen for a reason by my mental state and my
Yeah.
spiritual mind.
Well, that is how this works. I mean, I don't know that I've ever come up. I've never read a Tao to somebody and then be like, yeah, that doesn't resonate at all. So yeah, let's go through this line by line. We'll read the first sentence, which is, "Whoever relies on the Tao in governing men doesn't try to force issues or defeat enemies by force of arms." Like, that's pretty straightforward, right? Like, we don't try to
Hmm.
force an issue on somebody, especially when And the thing is governing men is in a logical sort of approach. It is about forcing an issue. It's about making laws and rules and other stuff like that. And so how do these two things kind of jive then? Because in governing men, like, you want to give them the freedom to be, say, and do what they want in
Correct.
order for them to arrive at the right answer. But the right answer isn't always your answer. It's just the right answer for them. And if it is the right answer for them, then it's the right answer for everyone because we rely on the Tao. We rely on the Tao. We rely on the universe. We rely on God, whatever we want to call it, to interject in the soul, in the consciousness. Just like 30 came to your mind, what will come to this person's mind will be the right answer. Now, I also understand, like from your story, that you're trying to talk about something specific. So you have an expectation,
Hmm.
right? And your expectation is constantly trying to get this other person to be somewhere they're not currently at. And you, instead of relying on the Tao, have tried to control and take control in some fashion for yourself.
Well,
Now,
I did.
what's that?
Well, you're right. I did.
Right.
I tried redirect. I tried a couple different things for conflict resolution, and finally just let this person speak.
Right. For every force, this is the next line. For every force, there is a counterforce. However well intentioned, it will always rebound upon oneself. So, and although like that line actually states violence, even well intentioned, will always rebound upon itself, I don't know that it's only violence. Any sort of force that you are trying to put upon the world. If you put your hand up and then someone were to push against your hand, it would be natural for you to just push back.
Right.
You wouldn't just allow your hand to get pushed. So that counterforce is a natural experience that happens in nature. And so when you start to force the conversation, this person in his gut starts to want to stand his ground, because you're you're creating a force that puts him in a position of pushing back, and now there is tension, and tension is energy. And so you start actually building energy, but it's not the energy that you wanted. This is
Right.
why we start talking about it as rebounding upon oneself. It's not something that will unfold, it's something that will rebound upon you.
Got it. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
So the master does his job and then stops. And this is the thing that we see, where it's like, you did your job and then tried to do your job a little bit better, and tried to do your job a little bit better, and then gave up. And at that moment, you didn't stop and allow your job to be good enough. You stopped and, for lack of a better word, maybe pouted, right?
True.
And so you stopped and you said, I can't do this. This person, this person, this person. Now you are the victim of this situation. And this starts to eat at you. The next line states, he understands that the universe is forever out of control, and that trying to dominate events goes against the current of the Tao. This is where you lost it. You did not remember that the universe is forever out of control, and that you do not have control of it. And you continued to try to dominate events, and then became the victim of those events, which we already understand. Every force, there is a counterforce.
Right.
So we already know that you're out of control. And by trying to dominate events, you actually went against the current of the Tao. And so you felt the victim, which you are never the victim, ever. You are never the victim, Kronos. So we
Okay.
move on to the next line. Because he believes in himself. Now, at this point, you cannot have believed in yourself, because you were defeated and you are the victim of this thing. And so we start to kind of break up the idea that we have to start from this place of not trying to force issues, and not using force, because any force we use will rebound upon itself. So we always have to go back to the first line, because once we get into the second stage, this is about what the master is doing, and you are not in the position of the master holding to the Tao. What you were was, you were a man trying to force issues.
Hmm.
Because he believes in himself, which you will do as you continue to let go of your expectations, he doesn't try to convince others. And I'm willing to bet that there was something that you wanted to convince your audience, something
Yes.
that you wanted to convince the person you were talking to. And all of these things were about convincing them that either you were right, or that you had a point, or that your venture is worthy, or that you are worthy.
Spot
Because
on.
he
This
is
is great.
Because he is content with himself, he doesn't need others' approval. When you went on to do the talk, there may have been a little bit of like, I just want approval. And now that and I didn't even recognize that. But when I recognized that I wasn't getting it, I began to get triggered. And once I got triggered, I started to force what I wanted. That then opened me up to the counterforce. And no matter how well intentioned it actually was, it rebounded upon itself. And then, if you can get through these things, like, because he believes in himself, because he is content with himself, because he accepts himself, the whole world accepts him. And you don't have to prove or say or do or force anything.
Yeah. And that fits in very well with what happened. After and actually during this entire conversation I was having on my podcast, I actually got people who are on my back channel that actually said, "You're very patient. You're doing the right stuff. Keep it up. We believe in you." I mean, I got a lot of positive affirmations from those people back channel. So, that really helped me recognize that I was doing the right stuff by just letting this person, kind of dominate the conversation and dominate the situation.
Absolutely.
I just wish that wisdom, in its infinite wisdom, would allow us to know who's planning on coming up on that very first um, person that wants to come up. Who is it, and, and do we really want to take that caller? Because I was so close to booting this person from the discussion
You
because,
have that ability.
yeah, but I didn't feel it was an appropriate response on my part because that would have been that force that would have been violence, well intentioned, would rebound upon myself, and it would cause
Yes.
negativity.
That's true.
So,
That's
but
true.
but
So
I wish
now,
that it was.
but the great thing now, as we're winding down, as the great thing now is that you have a lesson, right? Now you can see that, oh wait, all of my thinking, all of my stress, all of that bodily response I had really wasn't necessary, because what I found was that on my back channel, everybody really respected me. And that was the thing I was afraid of. That was the thing. I was afraid of losing. And maybe I was stupid for having this conversation, but I wasn't. And now that conversation learned something. Like, you have somebody that you now know how they respond, and
Hmm.
you have yielded, right? You yielded. And that's the ultimate feminine. That's the ultimate strength. Yielding, like being forceful, is not strong. Yielding is strong. Yielding is the thing that you were able to do. Now, the internal work that you had to do to get to this place was very intense. And you have to continue to do that work, because it is not that
Yes.
you were right. They were right just as much as you were right. But you have to find within yourself that acceptance. And you have to
Yeah.
find within yourself that space of being content with who you are and believing in yourself. Because without that, you will always be shaken by externals. And anyone can say anything to you. They can say you're stupid. They can say you're bad. They can say you have all of the wrong ideas. And if they do, that's okay, because you believe in yourself. You're content with yourself and you accept yourself. And when all of those things are said and done, the world will accept you.
Thank you very much, Martin John.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it because this also applies. I just got turned down by another company for my dissertation survey, and so this is actually going to give me. While we've been talking, I've gone through and I found 30 more companies that I can try and contact to try and push through to get my survey done. So this has been a very helpful Tao of the day for me. And I appreciate you going through with that because I feel much more relaxed at this point than I was 15 minutes ago.
Well, I'm very, very glad to hear that. I'm very glad to hear that. The Tao is it's a beautiful thing, and I don't present it to help anybody. If you get helped by it, wonderful. That's just what the Tao can do. But I'm only here presenting you back to yourself, and I get to see myself in you. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll disappear now and let
Yep,
someone else come on up. Thank you so much. Have a very blessed day, Martin John.
you too, Cronin. I am bringing Julie up. Dr. Rao, I see you in the queue. Um, I love you, and I'm sure you have wonderful things to say. Julie has been in line for a minute, and we're going to bring her on if she is there. Uh-oh, nope, she left. So maybe Dr. Rao. Dr. Rao, bring the Tao. I know you got something to say, and it's not going to be a number. So let's come on and give me what you got.
Hi, Martin. How are you?
Hello, my friend. I am very well. How are you?
I am very good. I just stopped by just to say hello.
Oh, wonderful! I love having you on. Love having you on. I was just talking to Kronos, and I know you heard some of that.
Yeah,
But it's difficult out there in the world.
yeah. I know it is. Actually, this morning I had a session on. I was doing clarity of mind series. Uh,
Yes, yes, yes.
so
On is that so? That's a series on Clubhouse.
no all over. both the Wisdom and Instagram and also other channels. I do all of
Okay.
them together in the
Okay.
series, so that friends are different places, right? They catch them later or whenever they want. So at least I take advantage of streaming all the channels when I'm doing them.
Yes.
More
Yeah.
being efficient. That's all. Um, what it is while you are talking to Kronos, that's why I thought I will talk to Martin a little bit. Uh, so one of the things I talked this morning was somebody was here and he was asking to collaborate with something, and he sent some message to me and all that. Obviously, I didn't pay attention to that, and he was trying to collect the data on these things and then build up something and all that. I said, stop right there. It's not about outward data. It's about yourself, your experience. First, do it.
Yes.
And once you are that, then you are authentic to go and say, hey, I feel like this. Maybe you should explore that. That's all you could tell them.
Yes.
Not like telling them you have to be this way, but being there, getting that kind of clarity. People don't have that, right? So they kind of quote books, they kind of do that and all that. You and me, we know telling about Tao is not Tao. Telling about Brahman is not Brahman. We have to be in that, and then it comes out.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what
It,
you do, I think. So that's what I was telling other people too. Why don't you do just like Martin does? He wants to be the Tao, and then he brings it in, resonates with you, and it's up to you to do your internal work.
that's right. That's right. There is no, there's no silver bullet. It's
Yeah,
your work, yours completely. And
yeah.
all, like, I don't know what the fuck you need to do. Like, I really, I don't even care what you need to do. But like,
Actually,
go do it.
the self knowledge, Martin, at everybody is witness, everybody is experiencer of that. They
Yeah.
can't even express it in the word. The experience is experience itself. So self knowledge is something your own personal, your own individualistic, your own experience. Period. You
That's
know.
right.
I was telling him, I'm a scientist. I'm also a technocrat with a big data, EMR, and informatics, right? But I focus more on experiencing within. That is what the real yogi does. Is we may say something, but whether you are experiencing that or not. So suppose I'm lying all the time, and I know I'm lying, but I may want to convince other people about the truth of the matter,
Yes.
all the while really deceiving myself, right? That's what I told him. First do it yourself, realize it yourself within you, and then let it come out in a way that you are relating to a friend or a comrade, rather than telling them, hey, you are doing the wrong thing, you have to go. That's what you are telling Kronos, right, from the reading. You
Yeah.
don't want to say. That's what I thought, okay, I should share this with it just happened this morning. That's why I was telling. It's not like that on that person, but everybody has the same question, right? Dr. Rao, come and collaborate and let me do this data, as though I'm the authority on that. And
Right.
I never claimed, and I say, what I experienced, that blissful, peaceful happiness, I'm relating, and trying to give a shape to it so that you can also go and see whether you can experience.
Mm. That's great. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's all just about being here now.
yeah,
And
yeah. Being, and then,
there's no shortcut.
yeah, no shortcut, but at the same time, not belittling just because they are not at the stage where they could be.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's
Yeah, it's the potential is there. Just explore it.
That's right. Just explore it.
Yeah,
Just be there
yeah,
wherever you are.
yeah.
And
That is
like
what.
it's
Yeah.
without Kronos recognizing that
Hmm.
he was out of balance,
Yeah.
like that's the first step, just that awareness of, my body's out of
Yeah.
balance. Now he may have tools to be
Yeah.
able to go back, but it doesn't matter if he had them or not. Like he would have explored it. Like if he could take that awareness and explore it, and
Yeah.
he
I will give
chose
a
an outlet.
I will give you a definition of who is a true guru, and I will let you ponder over it. I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. What it is, a true guru is the one that shines a light of your inner path to realize yourself.
Yes. Yes. That's how that, like, I would never consider myself a guru because I don't want to ever
Yeah,
take a title, but
yeah,
that is my goal for
yeah,
everybody that I talk to. It's like I don't want you to, like, I am here to reflect you back to yourself.
yeah. Exactly. That's where this cultism, this worship of these people, and all this have come. So in that way, I'm like a scientist. Yeah, gravity is there, and I can point out that you can realize that if you don't know about it. But beyond that, what is the big deal?
That's right. Beyond that, there is no big deal.
Yeah,
NBD, as we
I
say
mean,
in the
why
young
do you have
world.
to say, oh, you found the gravity and all of that? You don't say that, right? With the
No,
scientist, the same thing is with the spirituality too. What they here is much more potential to corrupt and much more potential to
yeah,
really exploit people, and all those things are there. So for ourselves not to be telling I'm the teacher, I'm the guru, I'm the one who is going to show you the major thing, that's not it. It's just like a friend. You have a path there. There are some sharp thorns are there, so I will tell you, show a light on there so that you can avoid those thorns, and that kind of thing. And but that, why do you have to be put on a pedestal?
that's right. If you need to be put on a pedestal, there's
Yeah,
already a separateness that cannot
exactly,
be overcome without
exactly.
like significant awareness of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I remember a beautiful story one time. It was J. Krishnamurti. He was giving an interview to this lady who wrote this book of scientists and sages. Different people, scientists
yeah.
and sages. She interviewed, and Krishnamurti was accepted as a sage, but he never did. But the other people said that. So she went to him to interview. Then he says, "Oh, you're that." They said, wait, wait. You and me are like met under the tree on a rainy day. We both are taking shelter, and then we ended up on a conversation. And we kind of exchanged our, insights or whatever. And for that, why do you have to put me on a pedestal?
Hmm.
Granted, those insights are pretty deep and pretty profound. But then you never try to attempt to understand it, and you never prepared yourself for the mind to receive it. But for that, you have the potential there, the seed, they call it the bija, that is there, and that has to come out.
Yes.
See, you have the potential of the entire tree within the seed. Like that, the seed tree comes up and flowers too, and then expands. Like that, human being also has the seed there. He can flower it out. The spirituality is actually the most civilized state,
Yeah.
and
And
that is there within.
when we like, spirituality is such a commodity here in the United States.
Everywhere. It
Yeah,
has
maybe,
become like that.
like, it's like, really, like, even even for me, with like the dark retreat and everything, like, I know I'm contributing to something that I don't really
Yeah.
believe in, but it
Mm.
is because
Yeah.
of, like, an experience that I want to have, right? Like, and that's all. It's the same, but because spirituality happens at every moment, and
Mm.
it's not about retreating from anything, it's about embracing everything.
Yeah. And also understanding them in the right perspective. That's all.
Right.
Even if you are doing like a commercial enterprise suppose you are asking somebody to come to class, and then
Right.
you are charging them, there is
Yes,
a
of course.
practicality there, and there is a internal greed factor is there. We don't want the greed, but the practicalities are paying the bills and all that. That's okay. Can you be detached like that? Then you are okay. But then the whole business has become like a personal ego or personal profit. That's where
Right.
you get bankrupt as spiritual. But otherwise, if you are doing for the practicalities, you have to rent a place, you have to pay the employees, you have to pay the electricity and all that. That's understandable. But how are you attached to that internally? That is the spiritual question.
Right. And that's a,
So,
like that's the,
yeah,
that's,
clarity, then all the
please.
commercial activity, everything can be justified, right?
Right. Like you can do whatever, like as long as
Yeah,
as long as, and that awareness comes in to play.
yeah,
And that's it.
yeah,
It's like, are you aware of the reasons that you're doing this? Are we
yeah,
aware of the steps that we're taking, and what we're doing when we're engaging in these things?
yeah,
Are we engaging them from
yeah,
this open place of receptivity,
yes.
or are we doing it from a
This
place of
morning,
greed?
Martin, this morning I heard about this particular man. He does a major enterprise, so much is generated in terms of revenue,
Hmm.
but he gives it all away and goes begging for his food. Think
I
about
want,
that.
yeah, that's a choice. That's a good
Yeah.
choice.
I mean, no. The thing is, he's not attached to that, thinking this is all me. I'm good to. He uses for the purposes of, schools, hospitals, everything. All the money he makes goes there.
Hmm.
But at the end of it, he goes and begging because he doesn't want to have the ego.
Right.
Only the meal that he needs. That's all. I mean,
Right.
that's extreme. I'm just telling you.
It is
We don't
very
have
extreme,
to.
yeah. But it's extreme, and he's not. He's allowing himself to receive from others, but he's
Yeah,
also allowing others to give.
exactly. He's giving the knowledge, but he's receiving also from the like, bare essential from the world. That's okay, but rest of it is not to come into the greed factor.
And he's not ordering his dinner; he's eating
Yeah,
what is in front of him.
yes, whatever comes to him, whatever
That's
is
right.
given to him, that's it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well,
that's a beautiful space to
yeah, I
exist in.
thought it was a nice story, I should share with you.
Yeah, I love that because I do. There is a part of me that would like to be like that, and there's a part of me that does not want to be like that.
No, it's not like we have
No,
to be.
no, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. No,
just
it's
understanding
just,
it.
it's just
Yeah,
about my sort of like, oh, perceive this
mm,
and be humbled and know that like
yeah.
you're good. Like, and there's always a balance.
Yeah, I mean, the we made the revenue factor such a big deal, but if you really put it in the right context and then get detachment from it from yourself, that you are better off.
Yeah.
Then you don't be accumulative. You will be minimalistic and reasonable.
Yes, like I'm always. I told someone once, I was just like, I want to move to Spain and just be really quiet in the Spanish countryside, and they were like, oh, that's a small place, and I was just like,
Mm,
yeah, I don't need
yeah,
much.
yeah.
I
I
just
mean
want, I
that.
just want,
Yeah, like again, you see, the highest civilized state is the spiritual state.
yes, yes,
And once we understand that, all these external things really fall off on their own. We don't have to actively say, oh, I'm not going to see the movie or anything like that.
right.
So it's
And you
kind of,
can, like, all of those things are available to you, and there's
yeah.
nothing saying that one thing is right or one thing is wrong, but like, are you aware of your
Yeah, that's
engaging?
it. See, if you are aware that you are seeing the movie, then you cannot be involved in the movie at all.
Right.
Then you will be fine.
That's absolutely.
Yeah.
Dr. Rao, thank you so much for coming up, and I appreciate. I always
Sure.
always love talking with
Yeah,
you,
I love
and
talking to you too. Thank you. Bye.
and I'm interested in Brahman, so I don't know what I have to do. Like, I know I've searched it, but I don't know. Is it a text? Can you send me just like one of the best like sort of like overviews of it or something? I would love to just kind of dive in a little bit more. If you have a text that you can send me, I know I have the text for many different translations of the Tao, and I don't know how to access the Brahman and its teaching.
Like now also, you see, if you define Tao, then you don't know you are in Tao, right? Like
Right.
that, Brahman also is a vast force that we are in, we are of it, we
Yeah.
are in it. Okay? But
Ah, okay.
then, if you want to read one book, I would say Brahma Gnana, that is knowledge of the Brahman, is that Bhagavad Gita.
Baba Gita. Okay.
They make it a religious thing and all that, but those people don't know what he's talking about. He's
Yeah.
talking about this energy, like the Tao, the same thing, is there permanently, and we come in and go out of manifestation in that. So they talk about that. The second chapter of that book is everything about this.
Okay.
But to receive that kind of knowledge, the mind has to be purified, and for that, they described this action yoga, devotional yoga, and all that. But if you have a purified mind already, you receive the Brahman just like that. So the
Okay.
whole thing is about telling what is ultimate. This is the Brahman, and Tao, the same, both the same for me. And then how can you go there is the next 18 chapters.
Ah, okay.
Of the 18 chapters, actually, first one is like about our misery, our as a human being. We have all this crying, right? That's why they call it Vishada Yoga. Vishada means crying, really wailing,
Yeah.
and from that, why? Because either uh, uh, you are greedy, or you are really have attachment to things, so they
Mhm.
will say, well, for those to be liberated from the desire and not from this attraction that we have worldly things, then you need to purify your mind, but then you will receive that. If you have the purified mind, it's a matter of seconds, you receive the Brahman, right? Because we don't have the purified mind, then they have described various types of how to live, how to love, how to worship. All those things are in the next chapter. But if you want to really about Brahman, just read the second chapter,
Okay. Cool.
Bhagavad Gita. That's it. And then actually, Tao and Brahman is not really religious sense.
No.
They are like exploratory spiritual experiences. If you don't read them like a text, then you experience it
Yeah.
intuitively. Read intuitively, Martin. That is what is described, not with intellect, but intuition. You
That's
have
beautiful.
that, you feel it, and then you read like that. Any text, I say, I am not associated with any religion. You know that I don't call myself Hindu or I don't call myself anything. I'm a
Yeah.
human being. Why should I be labeled like that?
That's
But
right.
I can read any religious book and get the best out of that.
Yes. That's that. Yeah, I love that. And I'm interested just because,
Yeah,
like you
you are.
say,
Yeah,
it's a philosophical sort of
yeah,
fun, and
yeah.
it's beautiful to kind of like hear the same thing that
No,
I know in
no, no,
another
no. I have
way.
an objection about calling that fun or anything. You have enjoyed, that's fine. What I'm saying is, read that with that experiential attitude you have, and actually, what happens is it entrenches the doubt that you are already in.
Right. Right.
It
Hmm.
kind of recertifies, reinforces, and so you're better off it by reading from other people's. But then you will realize at the end they have the same vision.
Yes.
Why are we
Well,
fighting
yeah,
about?
the vision is truth, and
Yeah,
truth doesn't have,
yeah.
like, I don't
That
care how you state it, it's
this
always
is
true.
why follow the truth as the authority,
Yes,
not the authority as the truth.
that's right.
That the mistake religious fundamentalists all make is they think that message is only the authority,
Hmm.
but what is the truth behind it is the authority.
Every time I've done something, like even like all of my work is done without, you know,
Yeah,
having gone to school or having like learned from
yeah,
anybody, and everyone's just like, well, where did you go to school? And I was just like, well, I didn't. How do you know this is true? And just like the Tao states, my answer is always, well, it's
yeah.
true. Like
That's why intuition, your
it's just
intuition.
here. And I've
Yeah,
and it's not that I trust my intuition. Like I trust my intuition and then I find it out in the
yeah.
world and I was like, oh, this is true. and i
No,
and
you
i
feel
and i
it. You
Yes,
feel it.
absolutely.
You feel it. You don't have to have information about it. You feel it. You know what is the truth.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
thank you.
Nice.
I really appreciate that because
Yeah.
I'm gonna go into what's the second verse? What, how do you pronounce it? Saka Yoga,
Uh, Sankhya Yoga.
Sankhya Yoga.
Uh, but you don't have to about that. But the basic book is about knowledge of the Brahman, like a
Yes,
knowledge of
yes,
the Tao. But,
beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's just experiential. It's just
yeah,
about experiencing it.
yeah. That is the thing. When you read that, not with the a lot of people they repeat it and then they know the text word to word, but they did not catch the spirit behind it.
Right.
They are not living it,
And that's
not
like if
catching
you're
it.
not living it, it's not worth
Yeah,
it. Like it's not doing what
yeah.
it's
That's
so
what I. You
we've
say
gotten so
Tao.
lost.
If you're not in Tao, how can you speak about it?
That's right.
The
That's
same
right.
thing with Brahmagnan too. You know.
Oh,
I
all
mean,
right.
there's a different terms also. Why don't they say just a force, like in Star Wars?
Right. There's so many different ways of looking at it,
Yeah,
and
it's
and
isolated.
it's just
See, however, I tell them the moment I say that original text in Sanskrit, like so, for example, if I say in Chinese of the Tao, why do you have to have the prejudice? This is Chinese, this is Indian, this is Hindu. That
right.
separates us unnecessary. So anyway,
Mhm.
thanks, Martin.
Always, always. Thank you. I really appreciate you coming on and clarifying a lot of that with me, and just introducing more of it to me because I'm just interested. Just like interested in experiencing so many different things. Just like experiencing the dark, experiencing this text, experiencing you. And it's this moment. Okay, well, yeah, if anybody else wants to come up and pick a number between 1 and 81. Julie, I know you dropped off and you stayed on. I love you. I hope you're around. There's seemingly been some glitches, so I want everybody to stay patient. If you're getting knocked off, I really appreciate you sticking around and doing all that you do to support the app and everything. So sorry I couldn't have you. It's been a while since we've chatted. So, okay, bringing you on now. I hope. I don't know. I think there are some glitches. Let me know what's going on.
Oh,
Hello.
I've been there with you. Can you hear me all right?
have you did you try to come up and then get knocked down?
I don't know what happened. I just waited. I don't know whether there's like a time limit or anything on
I
being
don't
in the
know. Yeah,
queue,
because
but I was there the whole time. I was there the whole time.
yeah,
So
I saw you come up. I brought you up, and then you were gone. And it wasn't like I know that there have been a couple glitches. So, and I don't care if anybody has to walk
no,
away or whatever. But
yeah,
so I
it's
know
what
that
it
there are
is.
glitches.
The thing is,
Absolutely, it
you
is.
see,
As
maybe I was just supposed to listen to two of my favorite people, you and Doctor. You feed my soul.
oh,
So it was great. It didn't matter.
yeah,
I just listened to Doctor, and he said things that were really good. It really, I was totally like, yes, yes,
yeah,
because I enjoy how he words things as well, and how he reminds us not to judge anything. Don't judge anything at all. Just stop it. Just
yeah.
stop doing
Just
that.
stop it. Just stop it, would you? And I really, I really appreciated Kronos coming up and being vulnerable, and Dr.
It's
Ralph
good.
always got so much to offer,
Yeah.
and like it's true. Like it's not about understanding the words, but it's about going out and living. And I hope that like Kronos, I hope that he'll go out and he'll start to embody the things that we talked about, not that he can't or he hasn't, but sometimes when we get triggered, as we can we
Yeah.
can get to a place where it's hard to let go of that.
Yeah, I've had exactly the same. I've been talking, and somebody's come on to my talk and chatting to me, and they were actually purposely trying to trigger me, and I just had to
Really?
deal with it. Yeah, I just had to deal with it. It's look, there's obviously a reason why you feel you need to do this, and I'm just going to sit back and let you do your thing.
Yeah.
And at the end,
Wow.
it worked out fine. It worked out
Of
fine. I
course.
just spoke less.
Yeah. Yeah. That's,
And, you know,
like I feel like I'm a good interviewer. I listen, and I get people to where I want them to go, and I can control the conversation when I need to and stuff. And there are times where I know that I just need to sit back, and
yeah.
it's all good. Like, it's as long as we continue to practice these things that we know, we are moving in the good directions.
Yeah, because the thing is I could have really been, upset by that whole situation, but I just didn't. I just got to the point where I thought, am I going to underline it? Am I going to make it a thing? Because it's all
That's
down
right.
to what I put out there is whether I make that a thing or not. No,
That's right.
I just wasn't going to do it.
As more and more people start coming on this app, I think you and I and all the wonderful people that have been here for a minute, like, are going to really kind of dictate how this app should be respected.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah,
that, with the depth of literal wisdom that we are, that, and like, we we have a voice here. And as people come up and try to troll and do other stuff like that and try to trigger people, they're going to realize that we are not going to give them the dopamine that they require,
exactly.
and they're going to move on.
Yeah,
They're going
yes,
to move on.
exactly. What's going to happen is the speed of it is going to slow down all on its own until it's stationary.
That's right.
That's what I see. So it's like an energy. It's going round. It's pumping into you. Are you going to be affected by this whirlwind that's right next to you? Are you? Are you? No, I'm not. Oh golly, my wind is running out, and
That's right.
eventually it won't for nothing, and
Yeah.
it goes away.
It
And that's
does.
that's
It
just
definitely
yeah,
does. And I'll tell you, like, I haven't experienced any of that. So, and anytime I thought maybe I was experiencing that, they've come around and become, like, much calmer,
yes.
much calmer.
And the other thing is I think it is about I think it's the reading of, say, the troll, say troll.
Hmm.
It's the reading of how they perceive you. Maybe they're looking for a weakness in you through your kindness, say.
Right.
And
But
the
we're all
point is,
gangster up in here, dude. Like,
yeah, basically, yeah. It's like, actually, it's not weak to be kind.
that's right.
And there are many like me. This is what I said. I said, in the situation you're asking me to become involved in, there's going to be someone standing right next to you where you are now who is very similar to me. Speak your truth to that person, they will respond. And that is what I did. That's
Yes, yes,
basically
yes.
what I said. So,
So
yeah,
let's get a
it was
number
good.
in here before we run out of time and see what.
81. I
Eight.
want
Oh,
top
we're
of the
going all the way to the end,
81.
all the way to the end.
Yes.
And I
Yeah, let's
think
do it.
this one is beautiful for what we're talking about, because we have
Okay.
this, because it starts off with: true words aren't eloquent. Eloquent words aren't true. Wise men don't need to prove their point. Men who need to prove their point aren't wise. The master has no possessions. The more he does for others, the happier he is. The more he gives to others, the wealthier he is. The Tao nourishes by not forcing. By not dominating, the master leads.
Beautiful.
Isn't that everything that we were just talking about?
Yes.
And that
Absolutely.
so it's just that, there is never, the Tao doesn't miss a thing.
No, it doesn't. And that's the point of it.
That's right.
That's the whole point of it. It's not, it doesn't favor you. It doesn't unfavor you. It
It doesn't
is.
esteem you. It doesn't give a damn. And it
No.
and at the same time, it is there with you, loving you, but it doesn't care.
Yes. Absolutely. And how good is that? Because you see, the thing is, if it doesn't give you this stuff, you're not in O.
Right.
Which is a great place to be. When someone does something kind for you, and I've had a friend of mine, she did something kind for me today, and already in my mind, I'm thinking, how can I repay? How can I repay this
Yeah.
kindness? So if the Tao is giving without loving, or without sort of a repay system. How good is that?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
you can just be. It's
Hmm.
blimmin' fab that. I'm glad I picked 81. And 81 was right from the very first moment I joined you. 81 was the key. 81 was
Oh.
the number.
And
So
and so like whether it is you picked it because you needed to hear it, or you picked it and then our conversation led us to talk about it before you told me, doesn't matter.
yes.
It's all one thing,
And it's
right?
not
We
just
don't
there for
have to
me.
prove.
Not yeah.
Right, it's not just
Yeah.
there for you. It's there for each and every one of the people that are listening, that may listen. It's there for me as well. So let's start going through
Yeah.
this. True words aren't eloquent. Eloquent words aren't true. I was talking to Dr. Rao about the truth, and he was talking also about the Brahman, and being in reading it from a place of experience, not from a space of knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. True words aren't eloquent. They're not here to dazzle you. They're not here. They lay flat. It's kind of like brown grass. It's like there's a lot of potential here. But if and I also read a book, now that I'm jumping around a lot. I read a book by Michael Pollan called Defending Food, in the defense of food. And he said,
Mm.
if food has a package on it, and that package has a health claim, odds are that health claim is, in like, a carrot doesn't have a health claim to it. But,
We talked about
like
that the other day.
gummy carrots,
Absolutely. Yeah.
gummy carrots are like, oh, loaded with beta carotene. Like, well, maybe a carrot has a lot more beta carotene than those gummy carrots that you're thinking about eating.
Yeah. Why are you trying to give me that
Right,
in place of a carrot?
right. And this is like, true words aren't eloquent, eloquent words aren't true. Don't get fooled just because something says it's like fortified. Don't
Yeah.
be fooled by the things that, are trying to tell you those things, like you aren't,
Yeah.
you're
So
no
they're trying
fool.
to tell you a truth. They're
That's
trying
right.
to tell you a truth when in reality, if they said nothing, the truth would just be there.
That's right. That's right. And
Yeah.
you wouldn't have to be
Yeah.
like, but look, it's on the box. And this is where this next line steps in. Wise men don't need to prove their point. A carrot doesn't have to prove its point. Men who need to prove their
By the
point
way, it's
aren't
a
wise.
carrot.
I don't know
You
why I
can
keep
see
going
the
back to it.
point of carrot.
Yeah, that's right. Right, but so like anytime you find somebody that's trying to prove their point, that they're nervous.
I'm
You
already
know,
questioning it. That's the thing.
right,
Yeah. I'm already saying, why is this a necessity?
right. Why do you need to tell me that you're fortified?
Yeah.
And just in terms of food, but like with people, like even the person that you ran across on your channel, where it's like, why do you need to tell me all this?
That's right. Yeah.
What are you trying to prove? Like
What was the
I
purpose?
gave you respect before you even stepped on this stage. Now
Yeah.
what are you trying to prove?
Yeah.
The
That's exactly what I
master,
thought as I was chatting.
yeah,
So it's like the reason for this. I'll find out the reason later.
that's right. Doesn't matter. Like, but that because he's trying to prove his point, they're not wise. They're not. They're not. They're not. They're not going to have the wisdom for you because they're sitting here just trying to get you to think a certain way, and that you think just fine.
Yeah. I'll,
And
I'll
you don't
skip
have
that.
to prove it.
Yeah.
And and anybody that gives you enough respect is going to see that you don't need to prove it, and you don't need to change the way you do what you do.
No, because doing what I do is just a natural thing.
That's
It's
right.
just it's unchangeable. To be fair, it is what it is.
Right. And the thing
That's
is
fine.
6 months ago you did things one way, and now you're doing things another way, and nobody told you how to do that. You just did it.
Yeah.
And that is constantly growing within you and
Yeah.
changing all the time. It's going to
Yeah.
change. It's always going to change, but it's always going to be
Yeah.
from you.
I'm kind of excited about that though because
Yeah.
I don't. how it's going to do it, why it's going to do it. I've got no idea, but I'm just open.
That's
Let's
right.
see what
Yeah, yeah.
happens. Yeah,
And that's where this comes in. Like, and you're dealing with this right now. The master has no possessions. The more he does for others, the happier he is. The more he gives to others, the wealthier he is.
totally. Yeah,
You don't have
and
to
you can
hold
feel
on
it.
to it.
I can feel it.
Yeah,
No, I can just feel that and enjoy. Yeah,
yeah. You don't have to possess it. You don't have to own it. You can just you can just
no,
be there for others, give to others. The Tao
yeah,
nourishes by not forcing, by not dominating, the master leads. And that was what you were talking about earlier, that idea of like you just let them talk. You didn't dominate,
yeah,
but you walked away from that the victor, if there is
yeah,
one.
yeah. I walked away unaffected, and it was just an experience. That was it.
That's right.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what it was. Just an experience. So it's cool.
Yep,
It was cool.
absolutely.
It's
And
kind of
and
actually quite
and
nice. It's quite
and
nice to test my theory.
and who knows what they walked away with? Who knows what they wanted? Who knows any of that? But it doesn't matter. And when you can look at yourself and kind of, okay, like as soon as you start to feel yourself wobble, you center yourself again. And then you
Yeah,
don't get triggered. You sit there, you sit through the 15 minutes or whatever it is, and then off they go. You can move on,
absolutely,
you know?
absolutely.
And if it gets to a place where you're uncomfortable, well, you can just cut
Goodbye.
it from there. Yeah. Like we have that
Yeah,
ability. So, and that's the thing, by not forcing, by not dominating, the master leads. And then you can always rise above it because you
yeah,
are this experience.
yeah.
How
And
good
the
is
thing
that?
is what I really enjoyed was that there were people as well experiencing it with me. So I wasn't
Right.
alone.
Yeah.
It was kind of nice. It was something for us all to be part of, and at the end of it, we all did whatever we were going to do. It didn't matter. It was quite actually enjoyable, really, to see how it
Hmm.
played out just by using some of those tools that I've been given by some
Yeah.
great people. Martin John.
It's always it's always so great to just to be sharing our lives in this way. So thank you for coming up.
Yeah, absolute pleasure.
Okay, beautiful. Yes, tools to be able to deal with anything. You are having this experience, and this experience is having you as well. I always like to think of it like the universe or the Tao has ideas of what maybe it wants from us. And we have ideas of what maybe we want from the Tao or the universe, and I don't know that we'll ever be exactly what the Tao in I don't know that we'd ever be able to embrace the totality of the Tao that is. And I don't know that the Tao will ever be able to embrace the totality of what we want from it. But it's a conversation. It's a conversation that we're having. And as we go through our lives, we want to live our lives in a way that is unshakable. We want to live our lives in a way that we're not going to be affected. And the thing is every time we're affected, maybe we get surprised. Oh my God, I can't believe I would be affected by that. But yes, it's going to keep coming. Maybe there'll be a time where, like you won't be affected by anything anyone's bringing to you. But no matter what, like the potential is there. If everything everything you have gets ripped from you in a violent way, well, that's going to be a day that you're going to be challenged, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with being challenged. Nothing wrong with facing that challenge. Nothing wrong with trusting the universe and saying this is right now, and that's okay. And that's what we have today. The Tao, such a beautiful text. The Brahman as well. If you guys are in line with that, once again, Dr. Rao, thank you for bringing in so much wisdom. Dr. Rao and Bella AQ are two people that can step up to the stage and not give me a number. Everybody else, until you prove to me that you have, you have your text that you and the Bible. Sorry, not good enough. You have a text that you follow and that you experience. Well then, you got to give me a number, unless you have something that can not rival, but that is speaking truth and is high vibration. Thank you so much. My name is Martin John, host of the Recover Yourself podcast, host of On Recovery here on Wisdom at 1 o'clock Central on Tuesdays. This is Friday, and Tao of the Day is only weekdays, so I'm not going to see you until, well, Sunday. I'll be on with my buddy Paul Padmore, and we'll be talking all about, we'll be talking all about something. We always do. And then it'll be open for discussion from there. Monday, we'll be back with Tao of the Day. Until then, I want you guys to continue checking out all the things that I'm up to. And if you're interested, please reach out to me on the back channels, i.e. Instagram, Facebook. I'm not really on Facebook, let's be honest. And anywhere else. Always interested in hearing what you have to say and what you guys are up to. So until next time, keep recovering yourself.